This is a sample chapter from Fitton Books. Funeral March for the Maestro, Matthias Jones series by R.P. Fitton. Copyright 2016 by the Robert P. Fitton Revocable Trust. Chapter 1. When it came to money, Lark held on to the buck like a tough-fisted lieutenant, fighting to the death for a chunk of strategic ground. Jones dragged the phone cord tight as Mookie pinged the steel hammer against the exposed copper pipes. "I can't hear you, Lark. What are you saying?" He stepped onto the gray patio stones and closed the slider door, but the hammering persisted. "You're saying Professor Nussbaum owes you money?"
"That, Matthias, is the understatement of this year, last year, and every year."
"Oh, calm down."
"How can I calm down? 10,000 of my hard-earned dollars have gone down the drain to purchase some Steinway."
The barrel-chested Mookie opened the slider with his work boot. In the morning sun, his bristly, unshaven cheeks and short, matted haircut gave him the appearance of a criminal just having escaped the penitentiary. His rounded, frog-blue eyes blinked slowly, but his protruding lips never moved when he spoke. "You got problems?" "Mookie, I brought you over here to fix the washers on my kitchen sink. Now you've got the whole wall torn apart, and that brother of yours—"
"My twin brother,"
he said, raising his index finger. Jones pinched the bridge of his nose as Lark came back on the line.
"Well, what should I do?"
"Well, you've known Nussbaum for years. He's your big buddy. You knew him when he played piano at weddings. Now he conducts the Prince William Symphony. Can't you reason with him?"
"Reason with him? I want to kill him. He has my money."
"Well, call LG and take some legal action. Very simple."
"You got big problems," said Mookie.
"Will you just hold on, Mookie?" Mookie pushed his lips downward and stepped back inside.
"Touchy, touchy. Ani said you'd be touchy."
"Now listen, Lark. I suggest you and Flo get into your car and take a long drive somewhere, cool off, and talk to LG. The ensuing dead air on the line unnerved Jones even more. "Lark? Hello? Lark? Hello?" He closed his eyes and shook his head, and then moved back inside as Mookie banged the pipe again.
"You got big problems."
"Well, you said that," said Jones. He went to hang up the phone, but the wall phone now lay on the counter next to the jagged hole in the kitchen wallpaper and plaster. He maneuvered the receiver into place. "I hope you guys know what you're doing." Mookie opened his blue eyes wide and tilted his head. He had the annoying habit of pushing air into one cheek, inflating the cheek, and then moving the air into the other cheek.
"My brother and me, we've been in the business for 20 years. Bisbane plumbing, twice as nice."
"What exactly is the problem?" said Jones.
"APS."
Jones grabbed his clipboard off the counter. He did not want to arrive late at baseball camp. "What's APS?" The cellar door opened and an exact replica of Mookie, down to the blue eyes, whiskered cheeks, and scruffy hair, stepped into the kitchen.
"APS. Everybody knows about APS. Sooner or later, you're gonna get APS."
"Guys, I'm on the way to my baseball camp."
"Listen to him, Kooky. His baseball camp. Everybody knows that all he do is put up the cash for that camp."
"Don't remind me," said Jones. "Now what is APS?"
"I heard Arnie got Ricky Johnson from the Padres to run the camp," said Mookie.
"No, I wanted Ricky. I went to school with him, but he couldn't make it because of his schedule."
"Ah, he dumped you, huh?"
"No, he didn't dump me. Now what's APS?"
"Antiquated plumbing syndrome." "Hey, you got bad pipes, Yakima,"
said Kooky.
"Real bad,"
said Mookie. Seeing duplicate copies of both husky guys in their prison-cut peppered hair and pudgy blue eyes pushed his patience. Kooky started pushing the air between his cheeks. "So what's the upshot?"
"You're lucky you didn't burst your pipes," said Mookie. "Hey, can I have another orange juice?"
Jones stared at him. Then Kooky moved forward, tracking the dirt from the cellar across the kitchen tiles.
"Me too, and more cereal."
"Don't you guys eat breakfast?" "I have to go. Do whatever you have to do. Just fix the plumbing."
"What about breakfast?"
asked Kooky. "Help yourself," I'm out of here. I have 25 boys waiting for me at my camp. Arnie's camp, said Mookie at the refrigerator. Jones shook his head and grabbed his cell phone off the table and then headed out the front door as the pounding began again. The air had warmed in the morning shadows, cut across the common's carpeted grass. He took a deep breath and hurried down his brick walkway to his red Jeep. A car engine as loud as a passing jet caught his attention beyond the common's granite post. Lark's long, faded brown bomber ran the stop sign, and his tires skidded as he rounded the Main Street corner. An oncoming compact's high-pitched horn sounded several times, and the little car veered toward the sidewalk. Lark accelerated past the storefronts, but did not stop at LG's law office. The car tires screeched again against the asphalt at the Hamilton Street traffic lights. Luckily, the lights had changed, but Lark fishtailed, nearly sideswiping a small blue pickup and a yellow Volkswagen parked along the curb. Then he raced down Hamilton Street toward the college. The rapping inside his house continued as Jones attempted to start the Jeep. He had a slight skipping problem until Arnie Dewars had fiddled with the wires yesterday afternoon. The engine backfired and then sputtered out. He set the clipboard on the seat and then pumped the gas pedal. Like a slow sunrise, the engine finally caught and the blue smoke pushed along his fence. The Jeep threatened to stall along the common as he shifted. He wanted to find Arnie, but the baseball camp was about to begin. Not landing Ricky Johnson was a major disappointment. Ricky was supposed to tell him today whether he was available for a speaking engagement to benefit the Hamilton College athletic programs later in the summer. Jones stopped at the corner and glanced at the Hamilton Street lights. He shook his head at Lark's erratic driving as he brought his Jeep up the far side of the common. He also hoped that Lark would not embarrass himself in front of the distinguished Maestro Nussbaum. At the traffic light, the baseball diamond's green grass, dirt infield, and bright white bases were visible beyond the little bowl-shaped football stadium named after Lark. Jones slowed as the light turned green and he cautiously released the clutch through the intersection. Only a few cars moved along Main Street on this quiescent summer morning. His backfiring Jeep dipped down the Hamilton Street hill into the shadows of the towering hemlocks and maples. The road swept by Larson Stadium. Jones put on his blinker for the service road, cutting between the gym and the baseball field's long chain-link fence. The kids were scattered across the grass and smooth infield, and Mac Connors' white Honda was parked along the fence. As coach of St. Pat's, Mac always had opposed him on the athletic field, but while on vacation at a Hamilton Bay cottage, he agreed to help him run the camp for a week. He spotted the hefty Mac, wearing a blue-sleeved baseball shirt, up at bat against one of the kids. Jones's grin dropped as his Jeep strained along the fence. When he finally stopped and turned off the key near the gate, behind the aluminum bleachers, the engine stayed on and sounded like bubbles in a pot of boiling water. He shook his head, grabbed his clipboard, and stepped outside. The crack of the bat echoed off the brick library walls to the right. A long fly ball went sailing over 3 kids in right field and bounced up the grassy tree-lined hill to the Shaker-style music conservatory. Jones cupped his hand at the gate. "The old duffer still has it!" Mac turned to the right and pointed the wooden bat toward the fence. The kid lobbed the ball. Mac swung hard and fell on his knee. He quickly got up and the kid fired another pitch. Again, Mac connected, and the arching ball this time cleared the yellow and green 300-foot sign behind the center field chain-link fence. Mac walked up to Jones with a cocky look and handed him the bat.
"Match that one, big guy."
"Not bad for an old man," said Jones, looking across the field. Arnie Dewis' blue pickup looped around the library parking lot beyond right field.
"Maybe you'd like to take a few swings there, Matthias,"
said Mac, wiping his brow. "I have a camp to run," said Jones, smiling.
"We're lucky we even got this field this morning," said Mac. "This idiot comes running on the field screaming about us not having an official permit."
No. Tell me that didn't happen."
"Yeah, a mealy-mouthed little guy with glasses and Bermuda shorts. Police shirt. Looked like he was on his way to summer camp. He drove a beat-up little brown car marked
Campus Security," said Jones.
"How did you know?"
"Bucky Driscoll." Well, he threatened to write us up, said Mac. He said we needed written permission to be here. I hope you told him to beat it, said Jones. Well, he wrote this ticket and said the tow trucks are on the way. Jones shook his head. You know, Bucky would get into trouble standing still. Let's round up the boys. He blew his brass whistle. The group converged around the coaches. Arnie Dewars, cigarette hanging from his mouth, clawed his way over the right field chain-link fence. He was stuck for a few seconds before he fell onto the right field grass. When he stood, he picked up his dark-rimmed glasses and quickly lit another cigarette. Who the heck is that? Asked Mac. The sponsor of this camp. I can still see him bugging Ricky last month at the Colonial House. Jones exhaled. Mac, can you get the boys set up? Mac nodded and Jones trotted to the outfield. Arnie wore a Yankees jersey and waved in a wide arc. Matthias! Arnie, looks like I'm right on time. Time for what? Locke's car now zoomed past Arnie's pickup and continued toward the music conservatory. You look like you could use some help, said Arnie, elbowing Jones in the ribs. Not as young as you used to be, huh? Look, Arnie, we appreciate the funding for the camp. Everybody knows you couldn't raise the dough. That's not true. We had plenty of pledges. Yeah, right. Arnie blew smoke around Jones's face. And put out the cigarette. Can't take the smoke, huh? Jones raised his index finger. Look, Arnie, do you know who you're dealing with, Matthias? I played semi-pro ball. You? Jones could not halt Arnie from trekking to the infield. Where did you play semi-pro ball? The Yankees team in Roswell, New Mexico. They reached the infield dirt. Isn't that where all those alien stories started? True stories, said Arnie, exhaling again. Arnie, put out the cigarette. Oh, yeah, he said, throwing it on the dirt. Jones shook his head and snuffed out the cigarette with his sneaker. Hey, Macca! A different sound cracked off the library bricks. Jones looked to the kids passing the baseballs by the third baseline. Then he heard a dog barking inside the open conservatory window past center field. It sounded like a gunshot. You've been on too many of your cases, Matthias. Jones shook his head and turned toward the conservatory. For once, Arnie, I might agree with you. He turned toward the kids. Come on, Arnie, we'll get you a glove. Glove? Nah, I want a few swings, said Arnie as they crossed the infield. Well, let's start with the glove there, hotshot. Jones flipped over the roster page on his clipboard while Arnie pontificated about his playing days. Yeah, I led the league in doubles. Old double dare doers. Double dare? Asked Jones, looking up. Yeah, they give me the intentional, said Arnie as he pounded the glove with his closed fist. Yeah, I'd like to give you the intentional. What'd you say, Matthias? I said, let's get this camp going. Jones spun around when a distinct gunshot emanated from the conservatory and the dog barked again. That was a shot. Little nervous about running the camp without Ricky Johnson? Asked Arnie as he poked Jones in the arm. I tell you that was a shot. Jones retreated across the infield and picked up speed once he hit the outfield grass. Bucky Driscoll spun his little car across the library parking lot and disappeared behind the conservatory. Jones broke into a sprint and vaulted the fence like a gymnast in competition. He heard a loud car engine start on the far side of the building as he jaunted up the tree-shaded slope. Locke's clunker raised the dust and careened onto the adjacent athletic fields. What the hell is going on up here? He reached the trees as Locke's car knocked over a soccer goal and scraped the curb onto Hamilton Street. The conservatory windows facing the library were open, but the only entrance was around the parking lot side. As Arnie cackled from the outfield, Jones paralleled the octagon building's stone facade, and Locke fishtailed down Hamilton Street toward Route 32. Bucky's compact brown security car, front fender dented, was parked near the conservatory's entrance and the cement walk. Jones leaped up the weathered wood steps under the columns. He ran through the open barnboard doors and up the inside stair treads. Bucky! He crossed the quarry-tiled lobby along the barnboard walls. The outside pane windows were locked. The lower white-paneled doors to the music hall were also closed. Jones slipped across the red lobby runner, but when he heard barking, he veered toward the main conservatory doors. Bucky's voice was muffled behind the door panels. Identify yourself. It's Matthias Jones. What's going on in there? Who? Matthias! Now Bucky's voice was on a megaphone behind the doors.
Clear the area. All personnel will exit the building.
Bucky, I'm the only one in the building. Open the door. What's going on in there? After a long silence, Jones pounded on the door. Bucky, I heard gunshots. Oh, it's you, Matthias. The battery is dead on my shortwave. Open up. I can't do that. We have a murder scene here. Jones shook his head and pulled out his cell phone from his back pocket as Arnie Dewars entered the lobby. Hey, Matthias! Do we need the paramedics, Bucky? Who was shot? Said individual has expired. Jones dialed George Strickland's number at the police station. Who? Who's dead?
Hamilton, Ned.
Ned, get George.
He's playing checkers with Wendell. Wendell's lost 4 in a row. Although sometimes I think George lets him win.
Ned, there's been a murder. Phone dropped, rattling Jones's ear. Arnie lit a cigarette as he approached. Arnie, stay at the outside door and don't let anyone inside. What's the matter, you little shaky? No, I'm not shaky. I'm trying to get inside, but Bucky won't let me in. I'll get you in. Strickland came on the line.
Matthias, what happened?
Somebody's been shot up here in the conservatory, said Jones as Arnie gripped the brass doorknob. Arnie, this is a crime scene. What? He asked and pulled open the door. Hey, Buckster! What happened, buddy? Bucky assumed a firing position and aimed at Arnie. Get back, A.D.
What's going on up there?
Asked Strickland. A brisk air current through the open side windows cooled Jones's arms as he moved alongside Arnie. Professor Nussbaum's white hair flowed over the grainy floorboards inside the conservatory. His arm was cuddled over a cello, and the drawstring was 2 feet away near the gray-paneled wall and closed window panes. A blood splotch radiated outward from a tiny bullet hole in the center of his pale green shirt. Around 4 feet diagonally from the wall, a snub-nosed handgun with a black handle and a chamber, surrounded by a silver or an aluminum frame, lay on the wood. Nussbaum's German Shepherd watched Jones's every move from a position between Nussbaum and the glossy black piano. Jones remembered Nussbaum playing frisbee with his daughter and the dog on the common. George, the maestro, Professor Nussbaum. He sure as hell looks dead.
I'm on my way.
Wait, George, Lark was in here and just cut across the fields in his car toward Prince William.
Lark?
Yeah, Lark.
I'll talk to you when I get up there.
Jones cut the line. Bucky was still in firing position. Everybody outside! Chill out, will you, Bucky? Is he really dead? Said victim has been immobilized. But is he dead? Lark was in here, said Jones. Can't believe Lark would actually shoot anybody. Get in the corridor, or I'll hold you in criminal contempt. Shut up, said Jones, walking by Bucky. Yeah, Buckster, shut up. The dog reared up and showed his teeth. Jones stayed a few dozen feet back. Okay, boy, good dog, good dogs. Hey, I know about dogs, said Arnie. I would stay back, Arnie. He's not going to let you near his fallen master. What, are you afraid of the dog? Asked Arnie, laughing as he traipsed forward. The dog lunged, frothing at the mouth, and with a vicious growl snapped his sharp canines at Arnie. Arnie quickly scampered toward the orchestra's surrounding rehearsal room. The dog is nuts! Back at the door, Bucky zigzagged yellow crime scene tape across the door jamb. How is George Strickland supposed to get in here? We don't need the blue boys. This is a campus security investigation. No, it isn't. Jones panned the terraced orchestra room back to Nussbaum, the cello, and the gun. The piano keys were exposed, but the rear of the piano was closed. From behind, Jones felt the breezes from the library's side shadows again, yet the windows behind Nussbaum were locked. Why kill him and leave the gun? Well, Larson wimped out. The ex-coach is guilty of murder, said Bucky. He unclipped his belt radio and banged it against a chair near the door. Stupid battery. Did you see Larkin here? Did anyone see Larkin here? Bucky flipped his notepad. Said vehicle departed the area via the athletic fields at 8:06 a.m. Bucky, it's 9:15. Bucky looked at his humongous sports watch. He pushed a few of the pointed orange buttons, producing a number of tones, including a Westminster chime. Correction, time adjusted for daylight savings. Don't you even change the time in April? I never believed in daylight savings, he said, hitting the radio with the butt of his hand. The speaker crackled. Chief Strickland, Chief Strickland,
I'm right here, Bucky.
said Strickland over the radio. Through the closed windows, Jones saw the cruiser outside in the conservatory parking lot. I have a 965 in the college's music conservatory. Why don't you start by getting the damn tape off this door? Strickland and two younger cops were in the lobby. The cops chopped away the tape and moved into the conservatory. Wendell is headed up Route 32. Good. Larson just killed the maestro. BWPD is coming the other way. Arnie squatted down, snapped his fingers, and tried to talk to the dog. Again, the dog's body tensed and lunged at Arnie. Arnie backtracked and hid behind Jones. Crazy mutt! What's that dog doing in here? Asked Strickland. Jones stared at the gun. It's Nussbaum's dog. It's a killer dog, said Arnie. He's now standing with Bucky near the broken tape at the door. Bucky, did you see Lark in here? Negative. Suspect left in a 1978 Buick Electra. Strickland peered out the library side windows. Anybody else in the area that might have crawled out this window? Negative. Strickland continued to look outside. Then you really didn't see anyone in here? Negative. What? Asked Strickland as he turned and winced. Affirmative. Did you or did you not see anyone inside the conservatory? The crime scene was vacant, except for the stiff. Strickland rolled his eyes. All right, boys, get to work. What do you want me to do? Asked Bucky. Get the hell out of here. I'm campus security. Then go keep the campus secure, said Strickland, looking at Jones near the gun. Clayton and the rest of the medical examiner's people will be here within the hour. Strickland creased his brow and turned toward the piano. Shot in the back once at close range. I wonder who the hell owns that gun. I'll trace it, said Bucky with his arms crossed. I thought I told you to beat it, Bucky, said Strickland. Bucky grimaced and spun around. I'm filing an official letter of protest with Nigel Kent. You do that, said Strickland as Bucky waved his arms and tripped over the broken crime scene tape. Strickland put his hands on his hips and stared at Arnie. I'm going! That dog is dangerous! Arnie joined Bucky in the hallway. As both men moved away, Strickland faced Jones. Why are you here so fast, Matthias? I was out at my baseball camp. I heard a shot, but there was a long pause between the first and the second shot, maybe a minute. Well, that's odd, unless the killer checked Nussbaum's body and then made sure he was dead. Strickland bent over Nussbaum. I only see one hit from the rear, and that's it. Jones put his hand on Strickland's shoulder. You know, we're talking about Lark, George. Strickland shook his head as he stood. Lark has trouble remembering what day it is. You don't understand. Nussbaum owed Lark money, $10,000. Strickland's expression soured. Lark is cheap with the buck, but to say that he killed Nussbaum, you don't understand. I just talked to him no more than a half an hour ago. Nussbaum refused to pay back the loan right now. Lark asked him for money, and he said, what's your hurry? Does Lark own a gun? I doubt it, replied Jones, looking at Nussbaum. The dog stretched out again and placed his head on his front paws. If Lark really killed him, it's the dumbest executed murder I've ever seen in my life. Well, that has all the ear markings of Lark, as far as that goes, said Jones. Well, Wendell or the Prince William boys will track down Lark before he crosses the notch. Lark is a tower of jelly. He'll tell us everything we need to know.